Hi, I'm Janine and this is Janine Sews. On this channel, I talk about sewing a wardrobe for a woman over 50 who's maybe not the same size that she was when she was 19. Today I'm going to show you how I change my dress form so that it better reflects me. I've not done this before, I've not tested this, so we're going to see how this goes. Before I get started, today I'm wearing a Sew House 7 toaster sweater. This is the second version of this style of the toaster sweater that I've sewn. The one that I made is this one here. And this is the same version that I made just before Christmas in the textured double knit. This fabric is a French terry. Picked it up at Hobby Lobby. It's certainly much lighter than the double knit I used last time. It's a nice weight for kind of in between days where it isn't cold or hot. This would not be very warm on a super cold day. This time around, I managed to get my cover stitch to work perfectly, knock wood, it keeps working perfectly, and I learned how to go around corners on the cover stitch, so I'll show you a close-up picture that I'll pop in here. So let's get to work on this. What I'm going to do is use the Fabulous Fit fitting system to pad my dress form so that it better reflects my shape. I picked this up online, I think it was $79, and it comes with a bunch of different pads and two different styles of cover. I'm going to show you the pads. We've got to figure out what everything is. Okay, so list of pads. We have two shoulders, bust pads. So these are bust pads. They're kind of shaped more bust-ish. Side, the biggest ones are side back pads. Maybe here. We're gonna have to read about these. Stomach pads, well, I need some of those. Upper hip, thighs. One of these is a back hip. No, sorry, these are back hip pads, little booty pads, and filler pads that I guess you just stick wherever. So I'm going to follow through the instructions that they give us, and let's see how this goes. Start putting this shape on, rolling from the top. Roll the side seam cover to just below the shoulder line. So these are foam, and this is kind of a felt-ish fabric, so these should stick while I'm moving things around. So you're supposed to look at your posture and duplicate these pads. And I think I tend to kind of stoop forward. So I'm going to pull them forward just a little bit. I have shoulders. Slip the bust pads under the cover to accommodate a low bust, high bust, bust span, etc. So the next thing that we're going to add is the back pads, which mimic our shoulder blades. One of the measurements they ask you for is the distance between your shoulder blades. So I'm going to slide these up. There, shoulder blades. We don't usually see that on a mannequin. All right, so the next piece is the stomach and the side hips. So I'm going to place this, because the slimmest part of me is right here. So about there. So I'm going to place the stomach so that it definitely thickens what the mannequin calls the waist. And then the side hips, which go here. So I think this looks more like my shape. It's not perfect yet, but I'm going to measure the waist and see how close I am to my waist. I already know the bust is good, but let's see how we're doing on the waist. The other place, I really need more belly here, and I need the high round back adjustment. So I've got a couple of options. I could use that, but that's a little more than I need. Or I could use one of these, and that's okay. It's not going to look elegant, but it might serve the purpose. So let's try that. All right. So let's create the high round back. There, that's better. Now let's fix the belly. And I'm just going to use more of this batting. So this is pretty good. This is going to be helpful. I will certainly tweak it a lot more as time goes on. That took, oh boy, you know, that only took about 45 minutes in total to put together. So this is my pal, and I'm quite happy with how this turned out now after all of the work. So yesterday I just battened down and spent maybe another hour on it. And now I think it's very close to me. She is wearing Pamela's Patterns Pleated Flowy back tee, and I wore this to work the other day, so I know this is pretty much how it fits me. So this is the final result. Now, the kit comes with two covers. The first one is the polo neck, that's right here. And then the second one you slip on after you've got everything in place. So what did I change in the interim since I initially did everything? Well, the first thing I did is I've kind of pulled the shoulders in a little bit because my shoulders are fairly narrow. This might be too narrow. But the big thing I did is I added a bra. I threw one of my old bras on just to get things placed where they should be. I also added a little bit of batting inside of the bra pads, the cup pads, to keep them from crushing underneath the weight of this second cover. Then I used a little bit of batting to pad a few places where maybe one of the pads that comes with the kit was too much. So they give you some of these to puff up places. They suggested putting one here on the waist, but I just didn't think that was right, or that was going to work. So instead I used a little batting in a few places. I used batting for the high round back. I had put one of these in, but that was way too much. But I'm very pleased with how everything worked. This measurement is good. This measurement is good, as is this one and that one there. All of the measurements are very close, except the waist is probably ½ an inch smaller than I am. But I guess that just means I'm going to have to work to match her. So ultimately, I'm quite pleased with it, and I'm really looking forward to working with this new tool while I do some sewing. And really, that's what it is. It's a tool. Might not be fun to look at her naked, but it's going to be useful. And as I've said before, the great thing is that if my shape changes, I can just shift things around. I don't have to go out and spend a bunch of money on a new dress form. So there she is. That was a big job. It wasn't so much a big job because of time, but it was more looking at yourself in the mirror, running and changing this, self in mirror, change this, self in mirror, change this. So it just took a little bit of time. But again, it was worthwhile. Two quick things. The first one is on, I know it's been a long time since my last video, and this just took more time than I thought it would. But my next video is going to be sooner because I'm participating in a YouTube sewing Ask Me Anything on March 21st. So if you're a subscriber, you'll get a ping when that comes out, and it's going to be a sewing related video, a short one. And there are a whole bunch of people participating in it, and they're all people who are probably less followed YouTube videographers. What do we call ourselves? Hosts. But less followed people on YouTube. So it'll be a great chance to see some different people. If you follow Sew Over 50 on Instagram, hashtag Sew Over 50 or the Sew Over 50 account, I'm now one of the guest editors. So I'll be on there every 2 weeks as well. And finally, I went to Tuesday morning today, and if you don't live in the States, Tuesday morning is kind of like a discount clearance center. They get all kinds of different things, but they always have a lot of craft stuff. Fat quarters, they have a whole bunch of jelly rolls at the one I was at, all kinds of like scrapbooking stuff. Anyways, what they had was these little boxes that are designed for card making. Regular $17.99. I bought this for $9.99, and it's the perfect size for patterns, and there are a bunch of dividers. So I've kind of outgrown my comic book boxes, and I thought this would be helpful. Even just to have maybe my next up patterns. I was tempted to buy about 15 of these, but then I knew that I would just expand into them, so I only bought 2. So Tuesday morning, they had probably a dozen of these, the one I go to. So that's today. The sun is out. Hooray! No more rain. So thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you soon. I'll see you in under a couple of weeks for sure. Thanks again for watching. Have a great day.